We're here with intuitive discussions, intuitive mindset, and an intuitive way to live. The way that we get guided with Maureen Xavier is, I would say, unique. Some people say that some people do stuff like Maureen. And I got to tell you, being with Maureen, all the hours we have been led up to where we are today, I find her to be extremely fascinating. The way that I get to hold space and put light and be. There are some people that where I feel like I have to shift and move them and get them to a certain spot before things get going. For Maureen and our conversation, what I love about it is what I hope you love about it. What I want to say is I believe you should get a pen and a journal, and it's going to be hard if you don't have that, because you're going to get some downloads with Maureen. She's going to start saying some things that most likely will open you up. Have you ever had situations where somebody asks you questions and it's more from a divine space, that it's something that you've been wanting to hear, but it's not in the sense of, should you be doing this? Should. We don't want to should on you. There's no way to move forward when you feel that way. The wonderful downloads that you get are like, what if? What possibilities? So you're in the right place if you love a space where you don't feel guilty, that you get to move forward and you get to play. Because Maureen loves me some play, just like I do too. So I can't wait to have these mind shifts for you. Being exposed to a whole new mindset for living. What about for business? What about that we're starting year 2021 coming up in a few days? I want you to celebrate on the 31st that you feel you can't go to sleep because you're so excited, because you're thinking, yes, every day is new, but I get to start a new year. Like, where does that take you? That's what this is right here today, Monday at 3 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, is what is it in it for you? What's going to happen moving forward? Because what's here and now, let's love on it. Let's keep moving forward. Let's activate to a new level of consciousness is what Maureen says happens when we're together. Not just me and her, but I keep thinking in my brain that Maureen's just coming to the Fresh Inspiration Show. I know she's going to tell you she's out there in different places and you can go visit her. But I feel like, no, Maureen's coming and knocking at our door and saying, hey, I got some information specific to you, because that's how you feel when you're with Maureen. It's specific to the spirits that are here and the spirits that are going to be seeing this video, because that's how this works. Maureen, welcome in, and I appreciate you being here for the Fresh Inspiration community.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I love being here. I love being able to open up space. And I don't do this for everybody, but I know that this 6-week series has to happen. You may not like the word I used, has to, or have to, but I have to say that because, like, I can't think of anything else except something told me you better set up that 6-week series, because somebody's going to be in that space and share these things that are going to help me personally open up, the community open up, and the scrumptious visions that we get to play with. How has your week been, Maureen, since last time that we saw you? Because we're on our 3rd of 6 of being together. How's your week been?
Life changing. In so many ways. I don't know if your viewers are, how tuned in they are to the winter solstice, about 2020, about moving into 2021. Obviously, I'm really spiritual, so I
hope so, my friend. I love it.
So I had a couple, I participated in a winter solstice journey right after this last week. And I'm in a new space, and I feel like I'm preparing also a new space. So for me, yeah, what I've been told to do regular was the Sacred Heart is there's a book called Love Without End by Glenda Green, and it's basically it's teachings of her. She's a painter, and she painted a picture of Jeshua, and Jeshua came to her in spirit for her to be painting this picture. And so throughout the book, there's this basically teachings from him. And one of the things he talks about is the Sacred Heart. Is like the Sacred Heart is it's the truth of who we are. And when we can align in and be, it's kind of like rules, ways of living. And so what it did for me was I've been reading this book little by little, and this past week was really tuning into the Sacred Heart, and for me to have a deeper commitment to live as the Sacred Heart. And so in tuning into the Sacred Heart, what I keep being told is to relax. So this is me, I've got my own, I just because I am where I am doesn't mean I'm not dealing with the same stuff everybody else is. I've been deeper ingrained in push energy than I thought I was. So
How did you know that? Maureen, I bet your viewers are going to want to know that, so they may be able to check in with themselves. But what came up that you understood that you were in brain and push more than you really?
Because in the book, it gives you a way to tune into your Sacred Heart. And so going through tuning into being in my Sacred Heart, first of all, I can get in tune with the essence of the stillness, of the nothingness, of the pure possibility of who we are. And I also feel around that all the force. So much force. And so for me, it was an awareness of how I still am swimming more than I thought I was in the field of force, in the field of push, in being that I have to push to move forward. That's how I know it.
Last time when we left each other, I love what you were saying, and I could feel it was business. And you were talking personal. You said, this coming week, I'm going to live in every moment. And right now I see family, spending time with the family, connecting, being present. And my brain went straight to, that's so much business, because that's the space where we get to learn more about where our brain sense is. Are we thinking about, our relationships instead of allowing them to be. And that's when we start doing personal stuff and we have a week of, that's what our focus is. I find that's where we get to learn so much about ourselves. But I didn't know that you were going to be part of this winter solstice. Am I saying that correctly?
Winter solstice. Yes, it was December 21st.
Okay, so doing that, then it gave you even more insight and being able to feel like what that was and being in the mind. Where do you see, and this is fabulous for the people that are here, we have Linda Shively, a wonderful woman. Linda Shively is an incredible woman. Have you met her, Maureen, before?
Oh, I love Linda. Yes.
Oh, I love Linda. I love me some Linda too. Okay, so Linda's here with us, and it looks like a few others. When you start feeling the push in the brain, and from you being,
we can't feel in the brain.
Okay.
It's a mechanism, that's fine, but the brain, it triggers the nervous system, but we don't feel in the brain.
Okay. No. That's, I love this, because this is how we get to learn about this. So then when you realize, like, because your nervous system can be jittery, your brain is affecting it, and or it can be calm because the brain is connected with that. When you realize that you're in the sense of the brain, and you say, here, wait, I've gotten this far with my day-to-day stuff, with being able to have these downloads. So now you realize, oh, these are the feelings I have, and now I get to put it more in a spiritual sense, open myself up more in my day-to-day. And what does that look like if I'm not pushing it in my brain? So where does that take you now from who Maureen is? And in the spirit sense, if I am asking the question right, where did it shift your path to? I feel some big awarenesses here, but did I answer that in a way that makes sense?
So it's I continue to have oh my gods, like literally oh my god, because to the extent I have been so used by the mind. But it's what one my teacher David Kamnitzer talks about, being and becoming. So
Okay.
because I have faith in his teaching, that my beingness, however much I have been used by the mind, is still in service. But I get like literally like, oh my God, I've been so lost in my thought self, in the world of force, in being that this is life. It's a game changer to see how lost I have been, and I've still been able to be in service.
Yeah.
And literally the opening up of increased peace for what can be possible for me in my life and in my business. That's, yeah.
That is so divine, my friend. It helps. That feeling I can feel receiving like a more relaxed space. So today, right now, viewers, make sure you're breathing into this and really appreciating what this is doing for you as Maureen is speaking about this. And this is where I'm going, Maureen. If you're having that awareness and it's brought you into a space of feeling, I always say freedom. Like I always think of our earthly body and like freedom in the body, like, this feels so good because I already know I've been doing great stuff. I've seen these changes in people. Then it's like it allows us to have even a deeper breath sense and the path open in a deeper way. That's like, here, wait. Now I get to even be more being in that space. Now there's going to be more flow of all the spirits I see myself making sure I get to help make life this space that is where a lot of people want to be, the people that want to hear
Well,
what you have going.
for me, it's to really have so at some level, I've trusted my business. At some level, my revenue was up 20% this year. Not to say I have a huge business, but on a year like this, it grew 20%. And I worked and I work. It's not that I didn't work a lot. I did work, but I also allowed myself to only work in ways that I was guided to work. But we talked last week about how I had gotten to it was time for me to start receiving. I had reached a point, it was time for me to be and receive and relax. But so what this really is it's a deeper possibility for me to be easy in the saddle. And because in my life, in my energy field, I have sensed resistance. I have sensed a feeling of,
It makes you tired.
And so that there can be the possibility of me not having to be swimming upstream as much as I have been swimming upstream.
Yeah.
And it's really, that's what it's creating for me is it's increased trust, increased depth, being okay with how I've been, not judging myself where I have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why I'm crying, but not judging that I
Release
haven't
it,
been
my friend.
perfect. I've been working hard. I've still been pushing, that it's been okay to be living the way I've lived, and it can be even more graceful.
Yeah. Maureen, I find you graceful already. So you think about how you get to hold that space and hold it for more, because we always, that's why you and I are locking arms today, and with having Linda Shively, and there's more people here, is we're working on how many people can we shift to allow them to be okay.
And we
Isn't it?
don't shift them. We are a space of possibility. Enrollment, the definition, this is my definition of
Oh, no, keep
enrollment,
going.
is the act and practice of something about being a space of possibility where other people could join you. So that's part of the letting go. And that's been part of my year too. I've had one or two clients that's like, I wanted them to be moving faster. I wanted them to be taking an invitation that was a bigger invitation, that was the invitation I could be offering. They weren't ready. That was a lesson to me. Meet them where they are. Maybe they're not meant to go at the speed I think they're go, but to just literally be the space of possibility for what is possible, and to be detached from the outcome. Easier said than done.
So Linda Shively says, Rhonda, thank you. You and Maureen are amazing. And Maureen, anytime you want to, and just so you know, the Fresh Inspiration Show, I am here in the holding space. Maureen is going to shift any words that are flowing the way that's going to work for the space. So I love it when I'm saying something and Maureen says, "Hey, that word is this or that," and that helps you. So then you get the opportunity to whatever Maureen is speaking about. I know how I receive it, Maureen, and tell me, community, how you feel about this. But when I hear that somebody realizes that they were pushing and that they get to be in a space where they feel lighter, I felt like I wanted to dance. Because when I see somebody making those moves, I go to myself, yeah, I got this. That's what it is when it comes to family. Like, I feel like Maureen and our family. I feel like the people that are in the Fresh Inspiration Show community, we are family. We have each other's back. This is how the community and how I nurture it is the space of when somebody has a breakthrough, I go, hey, I can feel that in my body. I think I'm having a breakthrough with what Maureen is saying, because I can start feeling the things we learn so much from each other. I can feel the things that Maureen is saying, even though it's not explicit. I come right back to myself, and all of a sudden, I feel more light. And like, I'm going to have a fabulous evening because of that breakthrough that you had in that specific way that you explained it. So thank you. Maureen, with that.
You know what, I'm gonna say something. Rhonda, is that okay?
Sure.
And coaches and healers need to be careful.
Whatever you want, my friend.
Coaches and healers need to be careful. Many of us are here from journeys of our own, and we have a tendency to be empathic. This has been a part of my personal journey this year that continues to go and go and go and go. So I'm just saying, from my own personal perspective, I was so empathic, and and this is talking about what you were talking about, you can feel what other people feel, right? So when they feel lighter, you can also feel lighter. But true service, in my opinion, is the neutrality, the pure neutral space of it. And this is when the Sacred Heart that I was talking about before, is when you are in your own vibration, your own 0 point, your own neutrality,
Yeah.
then you can be perfectly aligned with who you are. And other people can also be perfectly aligned with who they are. And neither one of you has to shift in order for either the one or the other to feel better.
Yeah.
So that was part of, my ongoing learning and lessons, is when I found myself with this one or two clients that I was inviting them to be in a way or to go places that they weren't ready to go yet. I was wanting her to feel different, because then I would feel different.
Oh, I got you, Maureen. Mm-hmm.
But that's codependency. So we
I
have
can
to be
see.
really careful to be truly neutral, to be able to be neutral enough, or if we're not neutral, to be willing to be humble and ask ourselves the questions if we're feeling out of alignment, or if we have that one client or that one marketing conversation or that one follow-up call that keeps ruminating in our minds over and over and over again. Awareness is the path to true freedom. So being willing to be on an awareness path for ourselves.
Yeah.
If we're wanting something to be happening differently or faster than it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the energy that when we start talking about this is that it actually does shift my energy, because you're speaking to growth and feeling the way you're showing up differently this week relative to last week, and last week felt fabulous. And so I love being in the energy, like the mix of energy when you feel safe and you feel like you can dance and play in this energy. I love the endless dance feeling. And when I personally am going through things, I love when I get to be around talking about these things in a constructive way too. Because I think showing up and sharing in a constructive way, not going down the rabbit hole, but really sharing with, like, man, I'm really struggling with this and this, and being able to feel safe for, like, to go towards somebody like you and saying, can I work with you, because this is where I'm struggling. And right away, I can see what you're saying, that you're not putting a potential of like, well, I can see you didn't meet up with that person and say, I can feel where what you're saying, and I know what you're saying, and this is where I could see where we could work together, instead of putting it upon somebody and saying, well, this is what I do, and this is, hopefully this works for you. I can feel the empowerment and how you can make somebody feel very safe when you're taking care of yourself and you're in your awareness. And I think that makes it safer too when you're learning about who should be working with you, because sometimes the should and and putting it on somebody because you can see they have something special about them, that like, oh, I need to work with them, but you haven't really been able to feel like what that alignment is to be able to help and support that person. So I think there's a lot of play in you really knowing where your space is, so that you can hear and be quiet with that person and allow them to be, so you can explore. Very, very interesting. And so coaches out there that are part of this group, I know it's a lot of this group is actually that. If you're watching this, or if you're watching it recording, please share with anything about, accidentally bringing somebody in as a client and realizing that what Maureen was talking about, putting, the energy into somebody and thinking, well, you should be doing this, and you realize that you need to do that shift for yourself so that you can do your alignment and really keep it safe, because that's where I think most people coming in as experts, you've already have been consistently doing that kind of work, but we're also all evolving. So that was one of your awarenesses this week. That's really cool. So did you go back to your clients, Maureen, and talk and meet up with them where they were, and get that vibe going again, and flowing with at the level that you're meeting up with them?
Yeah, it's amazing what shifted.
Yeah.
The opportunity for the relationship entirely shifted after after I went deep with myself and my guides to see what in me was responding the way I was responding, and the whole dynamics of the relationship changed.
Mm, I love it.
Because who we're being, literally who we are being creates the field of what is possible for us in relationship. So for example, if I'm being towards myself, maybe I don't remember the specifics, but if I'm being to myself, I should be further along. I should be further along than this by now.
Right.
Then I'm unconsciously projecting that onto someone else.
Yeah.
And that could be affecting the dynamics of the relationship and what's possible for where they can be, and how I can't be. If I'm in the back of my mind 24/7, I should be further along by now, I should be further along by now, I should be further along by now, without it's even realizing it's a thought. If that's the energy that's in the relationship, that's always there. So they may literally unconsciously show up that way to show to me what I already believe is true. And when that I should be further along by now dissipates, there's a whole new way for each of us to show up with each other than what was there before. That's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. Who we are human beings. Who we be is there with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether we like it or not.
This is juicy stuff. Craig, thanks for being here. Marlise, come on, Marlise, if you are still here, because I see people coming in, please add into the conversation. Maureen, when I started really stepping into my morning routine, I call it a routine, but it shifts based on season and how I'm feeling for the day to make sure that I get connected. Because sometimes I'll wake up and I'll have like a feeling of, I need to do some really good work this morning. I don't start business until I get to the point of this feeling of freedom, this feeling of that I'm not feeling something. And this, of course, I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to learn what that stop is, because we all have little things going on. That's why we keep growing. We're going to constantly keep growing. I love when I'm finally at that point. It's usually around the first hour. I get about 4:30 or 5, and it's the first hour of like being outside, breathing the air, and the Fresh Inspiration Show. Please add in if there's a morning stuff or the way that you connect. That'd be great. And Maureen, I want to hear about your stuff too. Everything you've been saying, it's incredible to start the day and to get that clearing that you're checking in and making sure where you're at. That's the way that I've learned to be able to be in a centered space where I can be here and also coach through the day and have these kind of conversations and be able to receive. I don't know how to do it with playing a game. I feel like there's not such a thing as fake it till you make it. I think it hurts people, and I think it hurts that fraud mindset. When you're going out and you're wanting to create stuff in your business, and you're looking for the people that want to be with you. So when you were saying last week and what you're saying this week also, but last week was a lot about family and spending time. And this week, I can hear it's a lot about that being in this space is moving things forward, because that's what naturally should be happening. And I appreciate you breaking it down and sharing that, because that is what I think is so juicy for this type of community, because they love the stuff that you're talking about. Very spiritual. Like at the beginning, you said, I'm, as you can see, I'm a very spiritual person. It's like, you better be Maureen because I know you are. And I know you're showing up the way that, that your spirit self is. And that to me is magic because you can also, I want to love on Maureen a little bit more here. When somebody's been doing their work, when they can have downloads and start speaking this thing that helps you open and create your next flow, know what's stopping you, is when somebody can do it in a clear way. They use words that help you understand their journey or what they're sharing with you, and it makes sense. And when it starts making sense like that, again, that somebody is doing their work. I appreciate that, Maureen, about you. Any special things you want to talk about just before, as we exit out, just some tips that you do?
As you were saying that, the energy started to move. So I think spirit has something to say. That's how I notice what's happening. So let me get out of the way and see what spirit has to say. This is a download coming through from Mother Mary. This is okay. So what's coming through is something called light language. Who we are as beings of light, and the vibration has sound associated with it. And sometimes literally just we are beings of light, and as light language comes through, it energetically impacts the space and can be a space of healing. So I'm actually, God only knows, it can be shocking how it sounds. So I don't know exactly how it's going to sound until it comes out. It's okay to move forward in your life. Please open your heart to more receiving. You are worth it. Say to your heart now, I open you now. I am willing to live with you. And I am willing to receive more than ever. Not because it's hard, because it's easy. Mother Mary has something else to say. Each one of you in the audience today is receiving a download of your own kind. Please take it in. Please know that it is meant for you. You are a star of light. Be the light being that you are. And it's okay to make mistakes sometimes. Mistakes are sometimes where the best process unfolds. So breathe in and out. If you are willing, I am a receiver of light now. Let's say it all together. I am a receiver of light now. And so it is.
I am a receiver of light right now.
Mhm.
Maureen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Some good. I love the people that came through. This is so serving. I love it. Thank you for being with us. I can't wait for your adventure for another week and see what comes up. I'll make sure that I get this video out there to all around our community, and I can't wait to rewatch it. I think if you're watching it one time, you may want to watch it again and see there's so much that came through, and I'm believing that this is serving a higher purpose. Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.